9th of February 25, and I just noticed that this is from January, 26th of January. Controversial lawyer Ahmed Yaqub announces bid to seize power on Birmingham City Council. So this is a lawyer who the Manchester 2 called in, and he done a video with them where they were wearing shorts, and he touched their legs at one point each at the same time, and I don't think, well, their eyebrows went up a little bit. Then he binned and swapped for the other, the Scottish lawyer that they feel safe with. Yeah, and I think Labour's view, it looks as if a lot of Labour councillors might be replaced in the 2026 election, in Birmingham council election. Yeah, he's actually not sitting as a councillor. This is a guy who he's tried to become an MP at the last election against somebody from Labour and almost won. And he also stood for Mayor of West Midlands or whatever, and he got 75,000 votes, I think, he said. So, controversial lawyer and activist Ahmed Yaqub, and he's you could call him a product of the left, of the British left, their attitude to the way things have gone. I mean, three things that are important to them are women's rights, LGBT rights, and open border, basically. Do away with both those, which seems to turn out it's just a third world, it's second world that seems to come though, all the same. We don't really get many Americans and that coming. Controversial lawyer and activist Ahmed Yaqub has announced he is launching a new political movement with young candidates set to fight for seats on Birmingham City Council to drive the Labour Party out of power. So they're rewarding the Labour Party. Labour politicians have always been there to call anyone who was a bit anxious about this or sceptical. The Labour politicians have always been there to call them the R word, you know, like Jess Phillips and Claire Short, all these sort of people. Yeah, I'll just show you a couple of other ones to show the attitude as well. This is what the Green female voters are bringing us, to deceive you and to show you that the communities will not blindly vote for people just because they're part of a political party. Time for change has come. Inshallah, 2026, you will see we will change the face of politics in Birmingham and moreover nationwide, inshallah. And there does a salute thing in there. My dear people, remember I told you this. Those people who are sitting comfortably on their seats and protecting their seats and their financial pay packets, who claim to represent us when push comes to shove, they remain silent and sat at the fence. You are our number one targets. We will be coming for every single one of you to deceive you and to show you that the communities. So, I don't know, female Green voters can relate to this. This is their idea of the future, you know. I find it a bit worrying, you know, but female Green voters can't get enough of this sort of stuff, unless they do, in which case they'll be hysterical, you know, 5 or 10 years. Yeah, so that's 2026 Birmingham Council election, said to be a nasty sectarian mess, worse than the general election, the likes of ASFA, etc., etc. So, I don't know, apparently one of them's a Palestinian, now he's British, of course he's been made British by a Labcon, so he's a Labcon Brit, whoever. The other one, here's this guy again, the Independent Candidate Alliance has arrived, and it's interesting they're calling themselves the Independent Candidate Alliance, because it sounds like anyone can vote for them, you know, anyone's welcome to vote for them. It doesn't sound like they represent one community. And also it makes me wonder is, why aren't they making a party? Do they not? Are they, do they feel that they won't get on with each other? Or there's a lot they disagree with each other? Except one or two things, you know, in the block vote. The Independent Candidate Alliance has arrived, and here's our favourite lawyer, Ahmed Yaqub, alongside the notorious extremist Shakil Afsar, with more details. So let's see what they're saying here. I'll wait until it gets to the start again. So I fully expect Birmingham's Islamist Independent Candidate Alliance to align with other groups forming across the country. Birmingham 2026 council election will clearly expose the parallel society of Muslim versus non-Muslim for the whole country. Hopefully the rest will wake up. So let's see. A candidate in every ward in Birmingham, we have mentioned it before. Now is the time to take action. We're going to launch an independent candidate alliance. So not a party, an alliance. And all of our candidates will be under that umbrella because maybe they don't go in a lot of things. For that too long, the Labour Party and its candidates have reaped their awards on behalf. And rather than represent them, they are misrepresented. It's because the councillors and the members of Parliament are subservient to their leadership, rather than the people who have put them in power. We are no longer going to tolerate this. And that's it. We are going to put up candidates in every ward in Birmingham. We have mentioned it before. Now is the time to take action. So, yeah, so that's the future for Birmingham, I would say. I suppose the way we've got to think of it is Labour feel that they could win those seats back, if Labour put candidates up. If these get voted in, Labour can win seats back. Or maybe they'll never get a chance to win the seats back because, insert whatever reason you think, will Blackburn see another Labour MP or an MP of any of a certain type ever again? Or will it just be one type of person that will be in Blackburn forever? We don't know. Female left voters would say yes, of course. Labour politicians won't be replaced forever. They'll get a chance the next time or time after. So the controversial lawyer and activist Ahmed Yaqub has announced he's launching a new political movement with young candidates set to fight for seats in Birmingham City Council to drive the Labour Party out of power. He has recruited campaigners and fellow lawyers to join his bid. Yaqub says sitting Labour councillors are the primary targets of the new movement he intends to lead. Seats in inner city Birmingham include Alum Rock, Lozells, Ladywood, Bar, Aston, Smallheath, Sparkhill and Sparkbrook are among the areas he plans to campaign in ahead of next year's all-out city council election. I will not be standing myself, but I will lead the movement, he said. That's interesting, that. But he will be standing as an MP, I would imagine, at the next election. But why did he need him, really, I will be more used being free to be out campaigning for other people across the city, rather than contesting one seat. I will lobby behind my candidates and support him. I believe he will cause another earthquake in local politics. Two candidates, 21-year-old law student Bilal Hussein, I'm guessing that LabCon have made him British citizen, and father of three, Tariq Alamini, a Palestinian attorney solicitor. Someone else at LabCon have made British on our behalf, are the first to declare their intention to stand. They plan to challenge Labour councillors in Ladywood and North Edgbaston. Yaqub says he has around 20 candidates in all to stand under his umbrella movement. Yaqub has been personally mired in controversy and criticism after he challenged first for the West Midlands mayoralty and then took on Labour's Shabana Mahmood in the Birmingham Yardley at the 24 general election, coming close to defeating her, to much alarm in the party. He was accused of leading an aggressive campaign during the general election, with senior Labour politicians later speaking of threats and harassment on the campaign trail from supporters of Yaqub and other independent and Workers' Party candidates. Shabana Mahmood and Birmingham Yardley's Jess Phillips said the campaign was the worst they had ever been involved in and an affront to democracy. It'll be interesting to see if those two plan to stand again 29, because I'm getting the feeling that they've got inside polls and probably they're going to be replaced, in my opinion. I don't know, but it was his role in spreading a fake video alleging racism against a young teacher, forcing her into hiding, that has caused the biggest backlash. He has since apologised and made a payout to settle the issue. In conversation with Birmingham Live, he said he was full of remorse for that incident, which he says he too was fooled by. The teacher, Cheryl Bennett, who's probably got a long history in Britain, her family, has spoken of the lasting trauma caused by the pile-on she endured when the falsely captioned video went viral. Asked if his reputation and views about women and gay people in particular would help or hinder candidates linked to him, he said he was certain it would help, so we don't know what that means. What does that mean? I mean, Green female voters would tell you that means that he's going to be very, very pro-women and pro-LGBT, women's rights and LGBT. Without being big-headed, without me, there is no independent movement. I am a founding member of the independent movement across the country, and I announced I was standing for mayor and in Parliament as an independent before anyone else. With me, we will be a force to be reckoned with. Without me, the men and women, boys and girls I have standing for election will struggle. He added, boys and girls standing for election. He added, there is no such thing as bad publicity. He said he would oversee and support candidates who were like-minded, but would not dictate views to them like the Labour Party does. Yaqub, a Muslim, said not all his candidates would share his faith, but all would stand for justice. Well, we'll see, really, And this is what the comments are saying. Wake up, everyone. Not about Yaqub, small fry, but the ideology of these people. Is this the same sleazy attention-seeking solicitor who sprang to the aid of the Manchester airport police attackers, then disappeared just as quickly when it seemed apparent he was damaging their case and his reputation? Well, I think it was the other way around, actually. I was thinking he was damaging their reputation, really. This man is being investigated as a liar and only seems to act out of what's happening in other countries, and is obviously, by his previous actions, and also stirring up hate to the West. Who or what is funding this man's agenda? I knew it one day would become Birmingham Stan, So I just think Labour would say this is just a blip, Labour, the Greens, SNP, and we're going to be a utopia when the natives become a minority, which is already baked in. And so I just think that's something to look out for. The only thing is it's an umbrella group. I think we'll also have an umbrella group for Lives Matter, possibly because they can't agree on a lot of things, and even it just personally, they don't go on personally, maybe, I don't know, but I don't know. It's something you're not allowed to predict. You can predict anything else in the world apart from something like this, So it's just something to look out for. If you're worried about it, I'd say you need to vote reform as an Overton party shift. Just on one issue, basically. At the moment, Reform are 2 week on it, but it's the way David Lammy's calling them. He's calling Reform a name, so you've got to vote for him not because of that name. It's because people see them as bad. Whereas I think George Galloway's Workers' Party has a more staunch thingy on mass migration than Reform. Reform are net zero on mass migration, which would have meant about 500,000 new people, new Brits from the third world last year, rather than 1.5 million or whatever it was, under the Boris wave, the Boris and Rishi waves. Because Boris got us through Brexit and then made it easier for the third world to get in, and harder for the EU people to get in. So that's how Boris treated that. If you want to vote reform and cancel by-elections, any chance you get, join YouGov and vote select reform and that. When they ask you what 3 political things are you worried about, only select immigration. If there's any businesses or services you think are damaging the country, either long-term or even just short-term, instantly, well, you don't need to use those services if you don't want to, if you think they're damaging the country long-term or short-term or whatever. You can do petitions on the government website, and that's the kind of thing you can do, because we live in a very undemocratic society. We only get to vote every 5 years, which Keir's very happy about. Personally, I'm not sure this Labour Party will last, because I think they're going to hit about 10% in the polls, and then I think they're really unfeasible at that. I think there should be a law that if in a YouGov poll you're under 10% when you're the ruling party, you need to call an election, because that's unacceptable, really. At the moment, they're around about 25%. So that's the other things. What else can you do? I forgot the other things, but that sort of thing. Vote reform any chance you get. Council by-election, Scottish Parliament, Welsh Parliament, that sort of thing. Council elections. Okay?